Ready. Hi, how are you? I hope you're doing well. So I'm a little late into the game, but Happy New Year. We're about 20 something days in, and despite the fact that we're almost done with the first month, it's still the beginning of the year. I was kind of nervous to talk about this because we're so late into the year, but I think that it comes at a perfect time because chances are if you find this video, you are someone who started out this year with a New Year's resolution, and statistically speaking, there's a 50% chance that you've completely just dropped the ball and you've moved on. Like, you don't even care about it anymore. And I read somewhere that, of the people that start New Year's resolutions, 50% of them don't make it to February, and more than 90% of them stop completely by year's end. So there's about less than 10% of people who started out with the New Year's resolution that actually followed through. Why is it so difficult to actually follow through on New Year's resolutions? And what can we do this time around to actually change it? I obviously don't have the answers, but I could take a guess as to what I think is the best thing to do and share my thoughts with you. If that interests you even slightly, then keep on watching. Real quick, I thought it'd be good to talk a little bit about the problems with setting resolutions as we normally do. There's 2 to 3 main issues that I see with setting up New Year's resolutions the way that we do now. So for starters, I think that oftentimes we're more focused on the goal that we want to achieve rather than the person that we need to become in order to achieve said goal. And I think that makes sense for the most part. That's our first issue. Another is mindset. So for some reason, we seem to think that January 1st is going to be the day that wipes the slate completely clean, and somehow we're magically going to transform from one person to the next, from one day to the other. But that isn't how we're wired. Added on to the fact that most of the goals that we set are negative in the sense that they're focused more on stopping things that are already built in us or starting something completely new instead of building on the things that we already are good at, and we're essentially setting ourselves up for failure. It's only a matter of time. So that's the trifecta for how you're setting up these really bad New Year's resolutions, and it's no wonder that you're failing at them. I am too. I used to be failing at them, but what is it that we can do different? How can we change? How can we come different? How can we actually lock in, as people are saying on the internet these days? This sounds obvious, but I do think it still warrants mentioning that we need to change our mindset, obviously. Focus on becoming that kind of person that achieves the goals that they want rather than the goals themselves. So if, for example, this year you wanted to make a certain amount of money, let's say, for example, $100,000, what is the kind of person that makes $100,000 like? Conversely, if let's say that your goal this year, which I think is a really common one, is to go to the gym or go to the gym 6 times a week. Don't go to the gym 6 times a day. If your goals this year is to lose a certain amount of weight or to go to the gym a certain amount of days of the week, right? What is that kind of person like? What are the systems that they have in place that allow them to achieve that goal effortlessly and without thinking, even when they don't want to? Ultimately, what you're trying to do is change your mindset so that you can open up yourself to a new kind of thinking, one that allows you to think of systems that you can put in place that can allow you to effortlessly achieve the goals that you want to by changing who you are and the habits that you embark on throughout the course of your day. Is there a less pretentious way to say that? That felt so snobby. And it's not going to be easy. It's definitely not something that you're going to be able to change over the course of the day, week, or month. But one thing that I think can help you become more consistent and expedite this process is an accountability partner. That is something that you could definitely change and help you have things be different this year. So I have like a page of notes on what an accountability partner is and how they can help you. I'm going to say it though, because maybe you don't know. Maybe you're just not. And I'm here to help you. I'm here to help, and I want to, not leave a stone unturned. An accountability partner, in my opinion, is a really great way to make sure that you can follow through on the things that you actually said you were going to do. For one, because of the increased commitment, right? You're more likely to do or abstain from doing, depending on what your goal is, a certain thing if there's someone who knows what the actual goal is. You might be able to cheat yourself, but you won't be able to cheat your accountability partner. There's also more motivation and encouragement that can come from having someone help you out as opposed to just relying on yourself for that level of inspiration. I know that motivation is such a funny thing in the sense that it's really sporadic. So one day you can have all of the motivation to do 100 million things, right? All these things that you have been thinking that is going to make you a better version of you. Right now, today, you want to do all of it, right? You want to get on your finances, you want to get on your food, you want to get on the gym, you want to get in this, like whatever skill it is that you're working on, whether it's music or your side business, you want to do it all and you feel like you can take on the world. But then fast forward a week and you missed a day, you missed maybe two, and it just really falls off the wayside. You know, you really just start to lose that steam, and then you go months without it before all of a sudden you might see a TikTok or a reel. Maybe you watch a movie about, let's say, singing, and one of your things that you really wanted to do this year was get better at singing. And so all of a sudden this motivation was reinvigorated, and then you get back up and you try it all over again. I think that with an accountability partner, when you have those periods of the motivation drought, if you will, you have someone right there to say, no, don't stop. You got this. We're going to do what it is that we said we were going to do. And then lastly, before we move on, there's something about honest feedback that you get with someone, and particularly someone who really wants to see you succeed, that you can't get with just yourself. Okay. What? I heard this quote that has always stuck with me, and maybe you've heard of it too, or some iteration of it. The quote is, we judge others by their actions, but we judge ourselves by our intentions. And that hits so deep. You know what I mean? It hits so true to me, because when I see someone who, I'll just give you an example. So there's someone who I know in my life that has complained about not having time in her life to do art, which is something that she's really interested in. But from what I see, in the conversations that I have, you know, you do have the free time, you just don't do the art, you know? And so how much can we really say is you not having the time to do the things that you want to do, and how much of it is you just don't find it important? It's not a priority for you, which is pretty difficult to hear, especially when your whole thing, your shtick is that, like, oh, I'm an artist, you know, I'm different, I'm creative, you know what I mean? I'm a creative. But that's not something you're more likely to say to yourself if you know in your internal dialogue in your mind, like, oh, I was going to set aside time to paint or to sketch or whatever medium it is that you do art, but I had to run this errand and I had to do this and I had to do that. Oh, the day's shot, I'm going to do it tomorrow. But it's in the back of my mind, I'm going to do it someday. With an accountability partner, tying it all back. Yeah, with an accountability partner, there's no one to judge you based off of your intentions, you know? I'm not judging you based on whether or not you decided or you meant to sing, paint, sketch, dance, exercise, start the side hustle, anything, whatever the goal is, you know? All I have to judge you on is the action. What have you done today? What are you doing tomorrow? You know? You haven't done anything? Come on, like, what are we doing? Wake up, you can do this. Going through this and saying this out loud, I can see that it's kind of scary to open yourself up in a way where you're sharing to someone your goals and your aspirations and your, you know, more than intentions, the things that you really want to see for yourself fleshed out. But don't worry, because I'm on the same boat with you. Most of my life, I've been very afraid to share about the things that I really want to do, because I'm afraid of actually giving things a try and just it not going the way that I want it to go, you know, of failing. I've talked about this before. Fear of failure kills more dreams than actually trying the thing. But in an attempt to try and put into practice what it is that I'm talking about in this video, I thought it would be great to change my mindset and to get an accountability partner. And what better accountability partner than you? So yeah, I have 4 big resolutions that I really want to follow through with this year. In no particular order, I want to be conversational in Japanese. I want to be much more consistent with the gym and my diet. I really want to get monetized on my YouTube channel. I can't believe I said that. But obviously you knew this was a thing, right? Yeah. Anyways, and I want to read more. So those are the 4 big ones. Now these goals are really nice. They're really, really aspirational. I think these are pretty good ones. But like we said before, they're really focused on the goal, the thing that I really want to achieve. And they're not focused on the kind of person that I need to become to achieve those goals. So So I need to change my mindset to make sure that I am thinking more about that person and who that person is that can achieve the goals that they want, as opposed to the goals themselves. For Japanese, I want to immerse myself in the language for at least 1 hour a day. And that can mean anything from watching a movie, a TV show, an anime. For the gym, I'm planning on showing up at least 4 times a week. I'm not giving myself a day like, oh, I have to go Mondays, Thursdays, Fridays. I'm just gonna say you have 4 times that you have to go there, and that's it. So not even an exercise. Like, I'm not putting myself this restriction where it's not gonna count if I don't do this, if I'm not there for this amount of time. I think that so long as I physically bring my body to the gym once, that counts. And then we got to do that 3 more times, and then that's 4 times in the week. And then for diet, I think I'm just going to track my macros. I've never taken nutrition at all into consideration, so anything that I do is a win, but I want it to be a good win. You know, I want to be mindful of what it is that I'm eating, and that way I'll be able to know if I'm eating what I need to eat to have the results that I want to have. And then there's reading. My goal for reading is 1 book a week. Wow, if you have any book recommendations, anything that you think is a must read, something that changed your life, something that you think a 20-something-year-old should know, something that just really stuck with you after all these years, please let me know. I would love to read what it is that you're interested in. I think that reading people's favorite books is such a really cool way to get to know them in a different way. And yeah, definitely recommend to me what some books you would want to read are. Oh God, YouTube. I'm going to do 1 video a week. Let's not look at the last 3 weeks, okay? Let's not look at January, but February on, I'm going to do one video a week. Now, if you've been paying attention, you might say, Jose, this is a lot of stuff to be doing. You know, these 4 things, it's only 4, but it's a lot. You know, they're 4 really, really big ones. And my response to you would be, first of all, thank you for caring, but no, it's not a lot because, like I said before, these are things that are building on things I already do in my life. If you haven't clicked off of this video, first of all, thank you. I really do appreciate that. I cannot believe you have been listening to me for this long, but I would love to invite you to write in the comments, if I may be so bold, what your New Year's resolutions are. What is it that you're trying to achieve this year? What is it that you're trying to work on? Please write it down so that we can both look back at this at the end of the year and say, wow, we really did that. You know what I mean? I made this video not just to talk about the reasons why I think that New Year's resolutions are kind of a bust, but also to be able to hold myself accountable. And I would love it if I could help you do that very same thing. But enough of my ramblings. This has gone too long. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for giving me the space to share what it is that is on my mind. As always, it has been a pleasure. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day wherever you are, and I will see you in the next one. Okay? Bye-bye.